Oh my God.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right. So
here.
we are going to be starting at the top where it says Part A. So it says identify the following parts of the chemical reaction by circling the subscripts. So you're going to circle the subscripts and draw a square around the coefficients. Now, since you should have this loaded up in Cami, you need to have this loaded in Cami. Otherwise, it will not work and this will not make any sense to you. All right. So when you open it up, you should have it in Cami. When you click on it, um, you should have an option to do it in Cami. So the Cami option looks like this here. Click on this button to open it because this will let you write in it and then submit it on Cami. Okay, so in order to draw your shapes, you got to go down to the shapes button. And then we're going to start with, it says draw a circle the subscript. So I'm going to click on the ellipse or the circle, and I'm going to change my color to, let's do green. Okay, so how this works is now when you click and drag, you can create a circle. All right, if you have a giant circle like this, please change it. So what you need to do is click on the stroke fitness and drop that all the way down to like a 1. So it's at 12 for some reason. Make sure it's at a 1. So then now when you click and drag, it'll be kind of a more tolerable circle. So when you click and drag, it's going to be pulling it from the bottom corner. So that's how you know how to like basically aim your circles. So pull and drag from the bottom corner. So these subscripts are the little numbers that are underneath. All right. So on this first one, H2, I have a 2 that's a subscript. So I'm going to click and drag, and that creates a circle. Is everybody able to do that like it is on my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So go through and hunt out the rest of them. So I see another one here. There's not a 1 on the HCl. So I'm going to click and drag while I got the circle tool out. They don't need to be perfectly right around it. That's fine as long as it's easy to see what you're circling.
You want us to do it for both part A and B?
Just part A. So is it just part
This
A?
gonna keep kicking me out. I don't know why.
So where's the next subscript?
The four right there next to the CH.
Good. And then there's one on this O. Is there one on the NaOH?
No.
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 No. Okay, so you're gonna leave it alone. So next it says put a square around the coefficient. So you're gonna do the change to the square function. And I like to change my color. I'm gonna change mine to red. And then you're gonna find the coefficients. On this first one, there isn't one. So we're gonna skip that one. On this next one, there's one right here. There's one right here. Is there one on the CH4?
No.
No. There's one right here. And there's one right there.
Mr. Passages, how you erase circles?
You can, if it's the last thing you did, you can hit Control Z and that'll undo it. But there's also an eraser, and then you just click on it.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the eraser, but it's not erasing.
Try to like click and drag.
Oh, okay, I did it.
All right, that one should have been pretty easy. Is anyone confused? If you are, it's okay. Let me know. All right. Part B. So now you know what those are. That should have been something we went over a while ago. A list of symbols for each atom in the formula, giving the number of each. Now, this is the most important skill we're going to learn before we get to part C. Okay? So you can identify the subscripts and the coefficients, right? Now we need to know how much of each one there is. Okay? So you're going to go to the text box tool and choose the color you want to write in. So then when you click underneath it, you'll be able to write. You can choose the size of your font here. Anything from like 11 to 14 is good. Okay. So first, we have C and H. Now, again, I told you guys I want you to take your brain out of chemistry mode, because we're going to treat these as symbols. And then once we balance the equations, we'll come back and we'll do the chemistry to it. So C and H are both symbols for elements. All right. Where would we find what those symbols are?
The periodic table.
Excellent. Good job. The periodic table. So if you wanted to look it up, you could. But again, treat these like just regular letters and we'll go from there. Each capital letter is a new symbol. So you're going to have to do a count at each capital letter. So first letter we see here is a C. Okay. There are two C's because of the subscript below the C. I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to type in H because that's the next letter I see. And there are 6 H's because there's a subscript 6 below the H. So the point of this exercise is to get you to see that there are 2 C's, carbons, and 6 H's, hydrogens. That is the key to this game right now. All right, so let's start the call arounds. So we pull up this here. All right, first on my list is Aaliyah. How many MGs are in this one?
Is it 2?
Correct. 2. And then how many O's, Aaron?
Huh?
One.
There is 1,
Oh,
but then remember that there's a coefficient. So
Two.
2 is correct. Good job. So so you'd be MG 2. O also 2. All right. Next up over here, we have P and O. So Nija, how many P's are there? Nija, you there?
Yes.
All right. How many P's are on this one?
4.
4 is correct. Now, don't forget about the coefficient in front. So if there's 4 groups of P4O10, how many? Say it again.
8.
Okay. So in coefficients in math class, you know how you multiply everything by the number that's in front of the parentheses?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see if I can draw this. This will be interesting. Pretend there's a parenthesis here. Oh, God. What the hell? Here and there. So 4 groups of 4 is how many?
24.
4, 8, 12, 16. So P is 16. All right, now let's see where to go. Who's next on my list?
Wait, how did you just do that? How you get 16?
You
There's-
because you multiply the 4 with the 4 at the bottom of the P.
Oh, okay.
Because the square is
Right. Right. So when you have a coefficient and a subscript, you multiply them together to get the total number of each letter. So it'd be 4 times 4. So then, how many oxygens would there be? How many O's?
40.
Correct.
Oh, that was right.
And don't be I don't know, what's the word? Intimidated by how many of each one there are, because in chemical reactions there's like a stupid big amount of chemicals going on, so these numbers can get big. So don't be worried about that. 40 is good. All right, so let's start doing some call around. So Devin, you answered that last one. Pick someone to do how many H's there are here.
Aaliyah.
All right, Aaliyah, how many N's are there?
One.
One is correct. Good job. All right, so Aaliyah, pick someone to do the H's.
Kenya.
Kenya, how many H's are there?
3.
3 is correct. Good job. All right, let's move on to ALOH. So Kenya, pick someone to do this one. How many ALs are there? Aluminums.
Kennedy.
Kennedy?
3.
3 is correct. All right, now let me show you how to do this one real quick because this is a little tricky. So there's 2 ways to approach this. When you see a parentheses of a paired elements, that's called a polyatomic ion. We briefly talked about that, but basically what you need to know is you want to treat this here as one element. So you want to treat that as like it's one element. Okay? So I'm going to write down OH as 3. Okay? Now, that's only if you see parentheses around something like this. All right? Another way you could write it that's just as correct is O3, and there's 3 H's as well. So what that subscript here means is that there are 3 of this group there. Because remember, we cannot put coefficients in the middle of compounds. So you can put it in parentheses and pop it at the end. All right, you'll see this occasionally, but we're going to try to keep it simple for now. But I just want you to be aware of something like this, that you could break it down like this at the bottom, or OH is also correct. Like this, the way I did it is also correct. So either one of these works. All right. Kennedy, you choose the next one for H2.
Ayla.
Yunala, how many H's are there?
4.
4 is correct. All right, pick someone to do O's.
Can I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's 2.
Okay. At first it was 2, but remember that there's that 2 in front.
Oh, 4.
Good. All right. So that was good practice for what we're going to do next. Let me get rid of this stuff that's bothering me. So now we're going to do the whole balancing game. Okay. So balance these equations by following the procedures we just talked about. So we listed those out. in the notes. Okay, so let me pull them up. All right, step 1, draw a T-chart by dropping a line down from the arrow. Okay, so I'm gonna make this an optional step for you guys because I already separated them out, but I would like you guys to get some practice at doing this because when we do this, if we ever do this on paper, you're gonna need to do this part. So from the arrow, I'm gonna go to shapes, and I'm gonna insert line, and I'm gonna make it black, and I'm gonna drop the arrow down like this, all right? And then I'm gonna make another line from this side over here. So if you wanna do this, you can, but you don't have to because I've already separated them out for you. When you get down to the bottom in part D, you will, okay? So hopefully we'll get to this later. All right, but I do wanna get through part C. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through this one. So go to text box, and you're gonna be putting the boxes where you see them. All right, so P on the reactant side. So we're only counting elements that are on the left side of this equation right now. I have P is, I have 1. And then I have 2 O's. Anyone not see how I got that? Okay, so here's where we stand. So this, as you can see, is unbalanced. The numbers are not equal on both sides of the equation. Since they're not equal on both sides of the equation, we will add coefficients as we see fit to make them balanced. Sometimes when you change one thing, you change something else along with it. Does that make sense? So if they're bonded together like they are on the product side, then if you put a coefficient in front, it's going to change the entire thing. If you put a coefficient on something by itself, it does not affect things that are separated by a plus mark. So if I put something on O, it's not going to affect P. So what you want to do is you want to look for first things that are multiples of each other. Okay. Now that's not a 1. Okay. So 1 and 4, all right, they're not multiples, they're multiples of each other, but they're multiples of 1. 2 and 10 are multiples of each other, but there's not 1. So what do you multiply the lower number by to get to the higher number? So that's where you start.
5.
So you have to think, you start at the lower number. 2 times what is 10, and that answer is 5. So that answer becomes your coefficient. So up here, I'm going to put a 5 in front like that. So then that tells me I have 5 times 2 here. So I'm going to change this to 10. You recount every time you add a coefficient. Every time you add a coefficient, you recount. All right, and I still have 1p. So now you can see that the O's are balanced, O's are good, but the P's are not. All right, and thankfully this is easy to fix. So what number times 1 is equal to 4?
4.
4. So I put a 4 here. Now I recount. 4 times 1 makes this 4. Everything is balanced. 4, 4, 10, 10. You're done. Okay? So this equation is fixed and now balanced. And what this says is that you have 4 molecules of phosphorus need to react with 5 molecules of oxygen in order to produce one of these molecules. And we're going to get more into what that means when we get back in school. But this is the basics of balancing an equation. All right. So let's see here. Give me a thumbs up if this made sense to you, and a thumbs down if you're lost. If you're in the middle somewhere, is there a sideways thumb emoji?
No, it ain't.
All right. Kind of in the middle. Kind of in the middle. All right. Good. All right. T, I see you. Okay. All right.
It's like I need to do another one.
Right. All right. Now I would, let's see here. All right. So let's do this. I know we have a break next. So if you need to go, you can, but what you should do is if you're stuck, there are millions of YouTube videos out there of how to balance equations. Watch a couple or come back and watch this when I post it later. All right, because what I do want to do is I want you guys to attempt to finish C. Don't be intimidated by this stuff over here. All right, follow the steps we went through in class. It will all work out. Okay, so if you
If
need
we
to go,
don't
you
do it,
can.
is we gonna go over it tomorrow?
Yes, but what I'm going to check and what you'll lose points for is if you don't try it at all. So I need you to try it. So I'll stay here and I'll do one more of these ones. And then if you need to go, you can. But I know we have a break now. So if you need to stay, stay. Okay? All right, I'll do one more now. Let's see. Which one do you guys want me to do? You want to do this one?
Yeah, the big one at the bottom.
All right. So, like I told you, don't be intimidated by this stuff because if you follow the steps, you're going to be good. It looks complicated, but what's nice about this stuff and why I told you to treat it like a game is sometimes it works itself out without you doing anything. So sometimes by you changing one thing, it'll fix the whole problem and it'll all be balanced in one step. All right. So the first step you're going to do is list out your elements on each side of the reaction. So I did that for you here. And tomorrow when we try the bottom, I'm going to have you guys be doing that yourself. So like I said, I like to do this. You don't need to, but I like it. So I'm going to do it just to make it look nice. Now I'm going to switch back to the text box. And let's up my font a little bit. All right. So BA on this side of the equation, I only see it once. Now remember, these things are true for the entire side of the equation, not just what it's bonded to. Let me see if there's one like that up here. All right, I don't have an example. I'll have one tomorrow. But BA, I only have one. CL, I have two. H's, I have two here. S, I have one. And O, I have four. Okay, go to the other side. BA, I have one. CL, one. H, one. S, one. And O, four. All right, anybody lost on this? Did anyone not understand where I got any of these numbers from? It's okay. If you don't, let me know. Everyone's good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you want to start where there's a mismatch. All right, so BA, that's good. CL is 2 and 1, so there's a mismatch. There's a mismatch here as well. So sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to where you start. You start with either one of the mismatches, whichever one floats your boat. So let's start with CL. So there's 1 on this side and 2 on this side. So I'm going to start with the low number, 1. What do you need to multiply 1 by in order to make it equal this number?
2.
Good. Scared me for a second. All right, 2. So where I find Cl, where I see chlorine in the reaction up here, I'm going to go and I'm going to put a 2 in front of it as its prefix. That tells me that I now will make 2 HCl's. So now I have to recount everything on this side of the equation. So by doing this, I made 2 HCl's. So that means I changed my total count of chlorine to 2, but I also changed my total count of hydrogen to 2 because hydrogen and chlorine are bonded. They're bonded together if they're close like this. Putting this 2 here does not affect the BaSO4 at all. So I have 2 times 1 makes hydrogen 2. Remember what I said about sometimes when you do one thing, it fixes the entire thing? Look what I did. All right, that was not my intention to make H balance. That wasn't what I was setting out to balance, but it ended up working out in the end because now everything is balanced and this equation is done. So all that worrying you guys did because it looks intimidating, all you had to do was put a 2 in and it is all done. So what this means is that when you do this chemical reaction, you will get twice as much HCl produced as anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank
Like
you.
I said, again, if you need help, rewatch this video or find someone who does it better than me online or come to my office hours. Hopefully this helped and I will see you guys tomorrow. Please make sure you do part C. Finish all part C. Just try.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you for the second one, the third one.
This one?
Yeah, to get to oxygen, can you just slip one between the HG, on the, or does it have to be in front of it?
It has to be in front. If you put a 2 in the middle there, that's saying that you are now making 2 HGs. And back to chemistry, if you change the subscript, you change the whole thing entirely. So like this right here looks like water, but it's not. H2O2 is hydrogen peroxide, it's the stuff in the brown bottle. So like that's like if you slip the 2 in between there, you change the chemical altogether. So that's a good question. You can only change the coefficients. But by changing the 2 in front there, I see what you're saying. You're going to make more HGs. But what's the easy is you just go back and you just change the coefficient to make it match and you're done.
Where'd it go? After we finish it, do we submit it or just leave it like this and save it?
That's a good question. Let me see. Can you let's see here. Go ahead and all right, Aaliyah, I'm answer that. So Devin, can you try something out for me and submit it? And then I want to see what happens on my end. Because I don't use Cami enough to know. Let me check. Did you submit it?
It's loading.
Okay.
I just did it.
Okay. Let's see. All right, so I can see what you did. If I grade it, so the thing I need to figure out is if I can send it back to you or not. Hmm. Thanks for asking this question because I would have been in trouble. Dang. All right, so can you submit, can you still access it? Can you open it up and still look at it?
Let me check.
Okay, Aiden, on this one, hun, your decibel's in the wrong. Oh no, it was in the right spot. Never mind, that was me. That was me.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry.
And you can hit submit again.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and submit it then because that tells me that you can submit it twice.
Almost there.
So that and still work on it. Yeah, so when you're done,
Yeah,
you
you're
can go ahead and
3
submit
times
it.
1 plus 2. 3 times 1 plus
Oh,
2.
okay.
Okay. All right. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.